Having been in the industry over 35 years, I don't think there's ever been a more exciting time to be in insurance.
Hello, my name is Jason Reichl, and you're listening to Risk Management Brick by Brick. I'm fascinated with people who are helping build and maintain the physical world around us. On each episode of this podcast, we'll dive in with a risk manager, speak to them about how technology plays a role in this process.
Hello, welcome back to Brick by Brick with Jason Reichl here at ITC. My guest is Bill Brower. Bill, thank you for joining me. I'm excited about our conversation. We were just catching up before the cameras were rolling. I think we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. Why don't you give a little bit about your background and what you're doing right now, Bill?
Jason, first, thanks for having me today.
Of course,
I really
man.
appreciate it. So my name is Bill Brower, Senior Vice President of Claims for Solera for North America Claims, but also lead our industry relations for our company globally. Solera is a very large international company. We operate in over 130 countries today. And my background, I spent most of my time on the insurance carrier side, having worked for Nationwide for many years and also Liberty Mutual for about 11 years. And I've been with Solera now for almost 4 years.
You have a speaking engagement this afternoon about instant payouts and smarter decisions. That's the title.
Absolutely.
What's that mean?
So it's really about automation in the insurance industry. How is this whole industry being redesigned to be more customer friendly, first of all, because no matter what you do today, I went to get a Starbucks coffee earlier. I just used my phone and I don't need to pull out a credit card and it's so easy. But the insurance industry has always been, slow to make some of those changes. And so really it's how do you make the whole claim process more simple, create more AI processes like estimating, but also payouts, AI powered. So we're really going to talk about the future and how this industry is really evolving into something much more automated than we've seen in my career. I've been in the business 35 years or more.
So probably not your first time around where people are saying we need to streamline to make client things better. Why now? Why can it actually happen now? Why are you optimistic about this now?
Well, today the technology is there. The software is there. At Solera, we have perfected the whole process of AI for, even determining if a car is totaled or repairable or what it costs to repair a car. So the technology is there. It's really perfecting itself every day. The more volume that goes through this solution, the more it gets perfected. The real challenge is the culture change. So I've been in the industry a long time. I know a lot of people that are in the claims processes today, and it's still, we have to let go of some legacy processes and think about things differently. It's almost like using ChatGPT for writing a letter instead of starting from scratch.
Right.
Today in the insurance industry, we still have a lot of people that like to do it from scratch, starting from scratch, where
It's a ritual.
these tools just really automate. To me, it makes the claims person superhuman when they adopt the AI technology.
Right. So when we talk about that, you would put them into a better position to be more strategic thinking versus just doing the process, so to speak, which is, the promise of AI. So the biggest barrier for carriers to really adopt this is cultural. I think that's been that. And maybe a little bit about rethinking your technology strategies, right? Who's doing it right and who's not? I mean, you guys are doing it right. How do you make the room for that to do it right?
So first of all, I would say this for advice for everyone in a digital first world, it's really important that you have a test and learn mindset, because in order to really engage AI, you've got to do a lot of test and learn. You're going to fail a bit. But when you do that, you really understand how to bring speed and empathy and accuracy to the claims process and how to balance that human and that, technology or touchless claims process to create really a great experience. One of the best examples that I can share today, insurance companies have been doing this for a while now. They're starting to really leverage AI more. They're still a little slow, I would say. One of the biggest barriers that insurers have is, and I came from insurance, so we want things to be perfect before we turn it on.
Yes, right.
And, I don't think it'll ever be perfect. So how do you
It isn't now.
It isn't now, and I don't think that we can expect it to be. So you have to get in. That's why the test and learn is important. But a good example is the collision repair shops, the body shops.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't mention, I came out of the industry. My dad owned the body shop. So I started long before any of the automation. And I remember how claims were handled then. And a lot of times shops handle it the same way today. If I go to get an estimate today, I'll go into the shop. They'll greet me. The estimator will take a picture. They'll take notes. And they'll say, hey, Bill, I'll send you an estimate tomorrow. Most shops will do it that way. We have some shops, and particularly have a group, Carstar, a very large MSO group out of Canada, that has really adopted this. It's been a game changer. What they do is they leverage this AI capability for estimating, for example. So instead of the customer walking in and walking out disappointed, when they walk in, anyone, it could be the person working behind the desk that's greeting the customer, can walk out to the car, leverage today's technology to take pictures. These pictures generate an estimate. The person in the shop that maybe is the expert estimator stays seated at the desk, gets the pictures, gets the estimate, line item like a chat GPT message, but it's a line item estimate. They can complete it, critique it, complete it. If they need to go look at the car, they can. But most of the time, within about 10 or 15 minutes, they complete the estimate. So this group of shops I'm talking about, what they've seen is the customer now leaves with an estimate, but not only that, they're scheduling them into the repair process. So they leave, they have an estimate.
That's your bottleneck for entry.
We know
you need to expand it so you can get more entry.
And we
It's
know
not
when
the
you're
mechanic
coming.
issue.
Right. We know when you're coming. You know when you're coming in. You have an appointment. And the beauty of this is that if I left without an estimate, I may stop at another shop on the way home because I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get any estimate. Whereas here, I'm good to go. And this group of shops that we've been working with this particular pilot, well, it's not a pilot, it's a production. They've seen revenues increase, and they've seen cycle times decrease, and their customer service has really taken off. So it's been great.
And I mean, it gives all those people who are taking those photos, they're learning the process as well, right? So you are then cross-training just by the very nature of what you're doing, which has an advantage. Okay, so here's a gotcha question, right? With AI powered, you walk around here, my company, TrustLayer, we're AI powered. It's a buzzword. How do you distinguish between real versus just buzz?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I wrote an article about that recently as well. It's the first thing you want to make sure of is that the company has the data behind AI, like a vast amount of data.
So they're not a chat GPT wrapper. They're doing some of their own data.
Right. But the thing about a lot of, there's a lot of startups that come in, they haven't been around long enough to build a data set that's robust.
Yeah.
And so even though they may have some pretty cool looking AI, do they have the data to power? Because without the data, AI is not effective. And so making sure that you have the right amount of, vast amount of data that you can pull from, make sure that this is a proven, a tested solution. Who are the customers? Does it meet compliance standards? Because AI, really used properly, AI is going to be able to make you more consistent in the insurance processes. And insurance companies, they are always on the hook for meeting regulatory requirements and compliance standards. And of course, they want to make sure that they're doing the job properly for an insured. So I think it's really knowing that you've got a company that is easy to integrate with. They've got vast amount of data. They've got the credibility from the experience, and their compliance is spot on.
Do you think, here's a question that we didn't have on the prep sheet. So if I toss you off, do you think it's important to expose this AI powered stuff to the end user, the insured, the person walking into the mechanic shop? Should it be used as a marketing thing, or should it just be an efficiency tool that just makes the customer's life better? Like how much of this is inside baseball and we should keep it within it, and how much of it's marketing?
I think it's nice to disclose that. I mean, with us, we at Solera, we work with auto dealerships in addition to insurance companies, and we work with fleets and that sort of thing. So one application is in the dealer space. So if I drive my car in to the dealer to get it serviced, mechanical service, the person who checks me in is going to walk around and take pictures, primarily because they don't want me to accuse them of damaging my car, right? But with AI, you can actually take pictures, and if they have some body damage, as a courtesy, you can provide them with a printed estimate and say, hey, by the way, here's some damage, and if you're interested, our shop can help you. Yeah. That's a great example to say this is an AI-powered estimate because the person pulling in, they know they're in a mechanical shop. They know they're not in a body shop.
Yeah.
So I think you want to be transparent and say this is AI-driven. We would invite you to go to our body shop so they can take a look at this and confirm the damages, but this gives you an idea of what the damages are. So I think it's important to convey it, and I think customers like it. They actually kind of expect it because most everything we do online now, we don't expect to fill out forms with lots of information. We want to be able to put a couple of things in and then see the form populate, because we provide enough information that AI can pre-populate our basic stuff that we'd otherwise have to pipe in.
Absolutely. Looking ahead, what does a truly seamless claim journey look like for policyholders in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I'd written a piece back in 2021, actually, predicting where I thought claims would be by 2025. So this is the year I have to, fess up whether I made it or not. Some of the predictions came through, some didn't. But one was that I felt like 80% of estimates would be written virtually.
Yeah.
And that's pretty close to being on the mark. I thought that, 50% of claims would be self-reported.
Yeah.
That's not there yet.
Yeah.
And so, but I think if we look another 3 to 5 years, we will see pretty much virtual is going to be the way claims are handled. There'll be a few exceptions, but it'll be AI-powered virtual, still people involved to make sure things are done properly. I think the payment process we mentioned earlier, I think payments will almost all be digital in 5 years.
Yeah.
Today, a lot of them are to vendors, but not to the individual customer, and the reasons for that. I think that insurers will be more savvy with AI because they will adopt, test, and learn. They will find ways to make this process work. They're still going to need a lot of quality people, but this claim process that today for a simple claim might take 5 or 6 days to conclude, we'll be talking about concluding in hours or, no more than a day 5 years from now. Technology will make that much of a difference.
Yeah, when we're talking through that, it made me think about, I guess what I want to understand is when insurance, and we have all these LLMs, but it's not trained on insurance acumen, right? There's not an LLM it's ready out of the box just for insurance purposes. How important is it that this industry builds its own LLM to operate, and how important is it that we share, or should everyone be building their own fiefdom?
So LM, you mean?
Yeah, just like ChatGPT, all the data that understands the difference between endorsement and this and that other thing, and know that it's written by people and it's not consistent. All of these things that make technology and insurance difficult.
I think we'll continue to have a lot of variation in the solutions out there. One thing that is key, and I'm on a board of directors for SECA, which provides industry standards on data.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's really even more important today than ever before is making sure that all the companies that are involved in this data process, that there's one standard that everybody follows. So you can have multiple competitors out there, but if the data points are standardized and the industry adopts, one standard like the SECA standard, it'll make all of these solutions more impactful. And then even more importantly, it'll allow these systems to integrate with competitors in some situations where the customer needs multiple platforms. So I think really that data quality is going to be key.
We have a lot of young people in risk management school listening. What's a piece of advice that you would give to them coming into the industry that would help them? And then where would you tell them to look? Where are some interesting, maybe greenfields in insurance that you would tell them, hey, check here, these are good jobs in this area?
Yeah, I think this is an exciting industry. Again, having been in the industry over 35 years, I don't think there's ever been a more exciting time to be in insurance. Most people don't think of insurance as an exciting place to be, but it is. I would look for companies that are powering the solutions that I'm going to be working with AI. I want to be able to use some of the technology I use on my personal time in my work time. So to me, that's really key. A lot of the startups or the companies that have just been around for 4 or 5 years, they've gotten very good at leveraging technology like self-service reporting, the digital imaging, or AI in terms of, where I think we're going in the future is AI is going to be more effective at culling out information in a file.
Yeah.
To answer a question instead of, I just picked up the file that you took care of before. Now I've got to read all the notes. Instead, AI will be able to.
This is what you need to know for your job.
It's ChatGPT for the file. So if I were a young person coming in, I would be saying I would be interviewing the person interviewing me to say, tell me examples of how you're using digital today. How are you using AI? How do you envision the future of this business? I have 2 kids and they're both out of college, but I've told them both the thing that's going to make you different or going to differentiate you in this business, any business, not just insurance, but any business, is how much do you adopt automation, innovation, and AI? No matter what field you're in, some people are scared of it and they fight it. The people that really adopt it and learn how to use it They're the most marketable people in any industry, including insurance.
Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
Risk Management Brick by Brick is brought to you by TrustLayer. Find out how TrustLayer manages risk so that the people can build the physical world around us. Head over to TrustLayer.io. And then make sure to subscribe to Risk Management Brick by Brick on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. On behalf of the TrustLayer team, thank you for listening.